like that. Like I clocked something in the back of my mind as, maybe a tray fell but I actually thought, somebody was pounding because it was such a raucous, cacophonous room. And I will just say, there's been a lot of talk about the security in that room, but for me, it was like when we were in there, you couldn't navigate. The tables were so close together that if people were sitting in the chairs, there was zero room to navigate in between. And so it was I mean, God forbid that place would have had a fire. People would not have gotten out. Guaranteed. I mean, it was a total fire hazard, I will say.
After the shocking events at President's dinner, one name keeps coming up, and it's not who you'd expect. It's Erika Kirk. Not the targets, not the security chaos. No, somehow the spotlight has swung straight to Erika. And here's the wild part. She actually posted a response on X, which is a big deal because this woman usually stays as far from the spotlight as possible. Here's what she said. Saturday was yet another traumatic example of the evil in our country and the continued rise in political violence. I'm taking time to spend with my family. I will be joining the Charlie Kirk Show Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time to briefly address what took place. Enough is enough. So let's be real. She's doubling down hard on the right versus left narrative and heading straight to the Charlie Kirk Show to address what took place. But what really took place? A full-blown feel sorry for the grieving widow campaign.
That does sound like something Trump might do. They're like, Mr. President, it's gotten too full. He's like, nah, make the event bigger. But
no, I don't know who made that kind of decision, but it was a tight squeeze.
And we are going to break it all down. But first, let's talk about what the people in the comments are saying, because they were not holding back. Someone said, wow, you managed to make this all about you. Shocking. And then this next one completely wrecked me, in the best way. Someone wrote, finally taking time with my family. See you Wednesday. Girl, sit down. The audacity. And another person hit different too. I've been traumatized the next day. Where's the camera so I can make money off of it? Ouch. And then there's this one that said it all. Let me guess. You're gonna make this all about you and stress the importance of finishing the big, beautiful ballroom. You cannot possibly exist on the internet and believe that the majority of people are buying anything you say anymore. It's time to end the charade. Enough is enough. And honestly, if she brings up that ballroom on Wednesday, it's over. Andrew Covet already played that card, and now Eric is coming with those intense eyes, ready to sell you something you never asked for. So apparently, most people inside didn't even register what was happening. They saw others diving under tables and Secret Service rushing in, but had zero clue what was actually going on. Now here's where it gets interesting. I want to zero in on one specific comment made about the venue. Someone said, I don't know who made this call, and pointed out it was a serious safety concern, especially if something like a fire had broken out.
So essentially you heard this noise, but again, you kind of just assumed there was a lot going on, somebody dropped something or whatever. And then little by little, starting in the back of the room, you saw people ducking underneath their tables. And so sure enough, we dove underneath our table, and you could see the thing that I will never forget was the urgency, I would call it like a violent urgency of the Secret Service as everybody dives under the table, because you could hear them yelling and you could see them running, and there was like they were throwing chairs to get them out of the way, and you're like, whoa, something is up. And so everybody just we dive under the table. We're there, again, time was sort of a blur, but I would assume maybe 3 to 5 minutes under the table, under the and you kind of, I'm peeking out, I'm trying to see if the coast is clear. Then it becomes, did President Trump get shot?
But here's where my mind goes. Right after this event, a whole coordinated wave of influencers started pushing the same message. President needs to build that ballroom. So was packing that venue like sardines actually part of a bigger plan? Make it tight, make it uncomfortable, make people feel like we need a new space. Just a theory, but the timing is suspicious. Now, it looks like Erika was escorted out at almost the exact same moment as the top officials. And based on what Andrew described, everything moved fast. There's a loud noise, people duck, the president is moved off stage.
Run over, I was probably about 10 tables away, 12 tables away from where Erika was seated. I ran over there as quickly as I could because it was so crammed and jammed, I could only make it over there so quickly. And she had already been ushered out. I ran into Harris Faulkner, and I ran into Martha McCallum, and they said that they had seen Erika get ushered out. She was okay. Harris and Erika, I believe, sort of were under the same table praying when it was all happening.
And Erika, already gone before most people could even process what happened. She was being ushered out like she had VIP priority. Barron was actually the first one to clock this strange timing. And once Andrew confirmed she was pulled out almost immediately, the questions started piling up. Why did she get that level of priority? And here's the spicy part. Was capturing Erika emotional and rushing out actually part of the night's script? Grab those sympathy points, push a certain narrative, lock it in. Now I'm speculating. But here's the thing that makes this theory hard to sell even to myself. Erika has never once convincingly pulled off a real, believable, emotional moment on camera, not once in months. So why would anyone count on her to deliver this time? And that whole, I just want to go home moment, conveniently said right in front of a camera.
And she says, I just want to go home. That's her quote. So she's got a distressed look on her face. She's being escorted by two men, one with a beard, one with, for lack of a better phrase, a crustache. And she's being escorted out of the room at a time, though, I believe, when the rest of the place was locked down. That's why I showed you the lockdown. Those people in the ballroom weren't allowed to leave. They shut the room. They shut the doors. They locked it down and said, nobody can leave. Sorry. Serious business. And that lockdown lasted about 90 minutes. 75, 80, maybe 90 minutes. The building was completely locked down. The shooting happened at 8:35. The first reports I saw that the doors had been reopened was close to 10 o'clock. So it's almost 90 minutes. Eastern time.
Interesting timing, right? Anyway, back to Andrew's story. When Blake is waving his hands like that, you know it's serious. And both he and Andrew seem genuinely shaken up. And then we find out Mikey McCoy was actually there. Now the real question is, how fast did he get out?
And so the more I watched this, that's why I wanted to track down who did this. Because not only did Erika get out of the ballroom to get escorted out, but whoever recorded this also got out. And that was weird to me because they weren't letting people out. Like the president got out, his security team got out. The vice president got out, his security team got out. Kash Patel got out, his security team got out. Cabinet officials, they got out. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, they got out. Bobby Kennedy, others, they got out. But the plebes, no, you can't leave. You're stuck.
Because back at the Charlie event in Utah, Mikey was the first one out the door, gone before anyone else even processed what was happening. Was he ahead of Erika this time too? Already on the phone? Already moving? Look, I have no personal agenda here, so let me be straight. With you, nobody is saying the left isn't capable of extreme behavior. That's not the point. The real question is, who keeps feeding this left versus right story? Because here's what's wild. I talk to people on both sides, and they all land in the same place now. There is no left versus right anymore. It's us versus them, the everyday people versus the elites. And when it comes to Charlie's passing,
I saw dramatic footage of Andrew Colvette emerging from the basement ballroom, looking a little frazzled, had been down there trapped for an hour and a half after the shooting had stopped. And so I thought to myself, how did Erika Kirk get out? She's not a cabinet official. She's not the Speaker of the House. She's not a president. She's not a vice president. She doesn't have Secret Service protection. Like, there were some fancy people still stuck in there. Some people you've heard of. A lot of people you've heard of. They were not able to get out, but she was. But not only did she get out, Sarah Sidner. Raise your hand if you've heard of Sarah Sidner. I have not. I looked her up. Still don't know who she is. I had to look at the screen to remember her name. I didn't even remember her first name. She got out. And she happened to be positioned in exactly the right place to get Erika walking by with a pained look on her face saying, I just want to go home.
nobody in these conversations believes TR had zero involvement. What people do believe is that he wasn't working alone, that there's a bigger hand moving the pieces on the board. And the same logic applies here. Nobody is denying there were protesters outside the Hilton. Nobody is saying the person who entered that building wasn't politically motivated. But your audience is smarter than that now. They're asking the deeper questions. Who is funding this? Who actually benefits from keeping this fire burning? Andrew is trying to keep everyone focused on surface-level aggression, but it's Erika who has completely taken over the media cycle.
I mean, it was a terrifying moment. You know, everybody, I got a number of texts and calls. Are you okay? Poso called right away. Tyler Boyer called right away. And I just, you know, my phone was blown up. But, you know, here's the thing. I'm okay. My concern in the moment was just for Erika, for Mikey, others, you know, And, just to see the way that the reaction has been from this moment, and we're going to get into the details. We're going to get into the Secret Service, the perimeter. We have Susan Crabtree joining us next. We've got a great show in store for you.
And the narrative. And while Andrew is saying, don't look too deep, everyone around him is already strapping on their gear and diving straight to the bottom. And the headlines prove it. New York Post ran, rattled Erika Kirk rushed out of White House Correspondents' dinner after. She said, I just want to go home. People magazine reported she hid under a table and was consoled by Kash Patel, confirmed by eyewitnesses. And then today, this drops. The Turning Point USA event at Iowa State, set to feature J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk, has been postponed. And the reason they're giving? Scheduling issues. Not the ongoing concerns, not the atmosphere surrounding these events. No, just a simple scheduling issue.
My reaction is just a shock and horror that people are alleging that Erika's reaction was somehow, performative. Up yours. Up yours.
Screw those people. That's disgusting.
Secondly, that this was staged to get sympathy for Trump or even for Erika or Turning Point. Up yours. Screw you.
This is actually a good test. Like, if you are a person where it is reasonable to you that assassination attempts are faked, are staged, just stop opining on public events, because your brain is too cooked by television, by movies, by memes you read on the internet to think rationally about things.
Listen.
Right after everything that's been happening. Sure, remember the last J.D. Vance event that got canceled? They said it was because Erika was receiving threats, and that was never actually confirmed. So now that card's off the table, and suddenly it's just a scheduling conflict. Interesting timing. I'm already placing my bets that on Wednesday, Erika will announce she's waiting until that new ballroom is built before hosting this type of event again. And before we go any further...
Yeah, I understand. COVID, that was a whole op. I get it. The Russia hoax, op. I get there's reasons to be distrustful and to hold elected leaders' feet to the fire. I'm all on board with that. But for real, if you are going to assume that everything is the freaking Jews or everything is some staged 5D chess move and that leftists don't want you dead, I've got about 48 minutes of clips loaded up today to prove you wrong.
I want to make something crystal clear. I do not wish anything bad on this woman, not even close. I have my reasons to believe she plays fast and loose with the truth and may be caught up in some higher-level narrative games. But that does not mean anyone should send threats, hurl insults, or taunt her online. That is not the move. We keep it level-headed here. That's how we stay sharp enough to actually see what's really going on. Now, back to the event itself. Andrew described it as genuinely distressing, and looking at the footage, people do seem shaken. Even JD, take a close look at that expression. That is not a relaxed smile. There's something heavy sitting right behind those eyes. But here's what's really raising eyebrows. The security situation. At an event packed with some of the most important figures in government, you'd expect tighter entry than a sold-out Katy Perry concert. But apparently not. Fox reporters were caught on a hot mic saying the security at the White House Correspondents' dinner was absolutely unacceptable. And then Bill Mulligan posted this: my thoughts on the security at the WHCD last night. The first exterior security checkpoint for me was on the street outside the hotel.
To prove that you are missing the big E on the eye chart. And I said it before, but I'll say it again. When Charlie was with us, he was not afraid of the Jews. He was afraid of purple-haired jihadists that wanted him dead. He was afraid of trannies. He was afraid of wild, violent assassination culture that's running amok on the left. And if you can't get it through your freaking head yet, I have nothing for you. To Blake's point, get off the internet. You are cooked. Your brain is toast. Wake up. We have put up with deranged leftists, politicians, going to No Kings rallies where they're holding signs saying, kill all tyrants, they all must die. We have Hassan Piker saying blood in the streets. We have Destiny saying conservatives should be terrified of being in public.
I flashed my ticket and was waved through in 1 second. My name was not checked against any list. I showed no ID, I was not patted down, and did not go through a metal detector. That's it. That's the whole security experience. Let that sink in. He even admitted he could have walked in with a ticket from a prior year or even a fake one, and nobody would have noticed. From that point, he walked straight into the hotel with 0 additional security checks. Went right down to the Fox pre-party, multiple packed ballrooms, still nothing. Not a single checkpoint. He said it himself. Hypothetically, if I had hidden something dangerous in my shoe or jacket,
As people were walking out of this event, they passed people with signs that said, kill all of them, death to tyrants.
Death to tyrants.
And those people knew what had happened, and they either made those signs in response to what happened, or they decided to wave them anyway. That is the kind of people you are dealing with
And
in
we've
this
been
country.
putting up with it in this country like it's nothing. Like this is just the new normal. It can't be.
I would have had no trouble getting into any of those ballrooms. It was only at the entrance to the main dinner room that magnetometers, pocket checks, and pat-downs finally appeared. And even that checkpoint was right outside the door. Practically the last possible moment. Here's the thing, though. Two things can absolutely be true at the same time. Secret Service reacted fast and handled the armed threat before it reached the ballroom. That part worked. But everything leading up to that moment, according to this reporter, severely lacking. And then Mads Campbell posted this, and it hit different. My best friend and I went to the WHCD and left early because something fell off the second we arrived. Every event at this level has layers. Bags checked, IDs verified, an actual process. This time, nothing. We said we had tickets, got waved through. No bag check, no real screening. Thousands of people being pushed through the doors as fast as possible. It felt viscerally wrong. My best friend literally turned to me and said, I think something is going to happen. And then it did. There needs to be accountability. This should never happen again. So let's bring it all together. Based on Andrew's account, plus everything documented across media and social media.
I love that they have like two random chicks holding the front door open. Where's the guys? We're not even trying anymore. It's not even like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. It's like the girls who work here are holding the door. Even if it was the guys, it wouldn't even make it better. It's like she's fine. It's just like they might as well put a doorstop in. Like, they put up a doorstop and a scarecrow. Don't fuck with this guy.
The venue was dangerously overcrowded, a fire hazard waiting to happen. Security was basically non-existent at multiple entry points. A loud noise sent everyone ducking. Secret Service moved the president off stage almost immediately, and Erika ushered out at the exact same time, before most people even knew what was happening. Then within minutes, hundreds of posts flood social media, pushing the same message. This is why President needs a ballroom, and X gets completely taken over by posts about Erika saying, see, we told you she was in danger. Not because attendance at her last event was embarrassingly low. No. Suddenly she's the story again. And then just when you think it can't get wilder, there's a video going viral right now on X. Someone sitting on stage with the president who did not panic, didn't flinch, just calmly pulled out their phone. You need to see this. Take a look at this. Everyone around him is diving under tables, security is rushing JD out, and this guy is just sitting there, calm as ever, chewing and filming on his phone. Not moving, not flinching. Nothing. So just how distressing was this moment? Really? And here's the kicker. He is the one responsible for that now famous shot of JD being escorted off the stage. How convenient? Almost too convenient that this particular person was positioned perfectly on stage to capture the whole sequence. JD pulled out first, then the president right after. And now the burning question. Was Erika actually ushered out before President himself? Looking at everything, all the canceled events, the media chaos, the perfectly timed footage. I think we might be watching the smoothest possible exit strategy for Erika to step back from the spotlight. Because they could never just come out and say it straight. Sales are tanking, chapter presidents are walking out, investors are frustrated. She's clearly become a problem. No, there had to be a cleaner way out. One that saves face and keeps the narrative intact. And this might just be it. As always, though, I want to hear from you. Was this whole thing staged, or was it completely organic? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation is just getting started. If you found this video interesting, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to see this. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another episode. See you in the next one.